Apparo Solutions. ExcelHub. Chapter 1. Importing Excel data with copy and paste. We start our tutorial with calling the Apparo portal. Apparo requires no client installation, you just need a web browser. The login page is using here Active Directory for authentication. If single sign-on is enabled, the login page is not displayed. The visual appearance can be easily adapted to your needs. After login, you will see folders where you can group your import apps, for example by department. When the Excel row import dialog starts, we switch to Excel and select the rows we want to import. For our demo, we select all 10,000 rows, and press then Ctrl and C to copy the rows. Then we switch back to our import window, and paste the rows with Ctrl and V. We start the import by clicking the green Import button. The following happens during the import. The authorizations are checked. The data quality is checked. The data is written. Auditing information is stored. The SQL trace log file is written. And an entry about the process will be saved in the business log. The look of the Apparo ExcelHub application can easily be adapted to match your corporate identity. The content of the dialog can also be adapted, with a mix of text, HTML, images and variables. Finally, a results window appears, indicating the number of rows imported, inserted, and updated. Row import features are: import valid rows, and ignore invalid. Roll back the whole import, in case of invalid rows. You can allow inserting and/or updating of rows for all users, based on a calculation. You can import Excel columns in the given order, or use an individual mapping. Optional, write to hidden, or read-only columns. Lookups can accept both output values and lookup keys. You can also automatically import custom values, for example department name, calculated with the username. Now let's have a look at Apparo's data quality checks. We copy and paste again the rows we want to import. We import here product lines and products, as well as the estimated sales figures for the year and its quarters. 5 rows were imported, and an error was found in one of them. The sum of the quarters is greater than the amount per year. We can now correct the wrong values, and re-import the corrected rows. Apparo's data quality checks. Data row validation. Define custom checks with JavaScript, and use SQL, and column values of the current row. All checks run on server side. Single value checks. Checking data types or formats. Custom Java validator classes. Validity intervals, fixed or calculated. Regular expressions. Chapter 2. Importing a complete Excel file. Now let's have a look at the file import. The file import works in the same way as the import with copy and paste. Select the file you want to import, and start the import. The same security and data quality checks are applied. The data correction window here is optional. In addition, an error list can be downloaded. The Excel file import supports the import of CSV, XLS, and XLSX files. The download error file contains the row numbers and the descriptions of all errors. The Excel import can of course also be enriched with additional metadata. Here you see a list view of all imported rows, and besides the imported data, we have automatically added audit information. With Apparo, you always have an overview. Who has changed, what, when, and how. All tracking options at a glance. Auditing stores additional metadata, such as username, change state, old and new values, or calculated values such as department name. History feature. In simple words, instead of overwriting something, a new data row is created, and marked as the current row. Business log. Optionally, all user activities can be logged. The Excel file import settings are: header row count, the import ignores header rows. You can specify a custom Excel column mapping, and the format of the error file. Optionally, import files must correspond to an Excel file name convention. And you can select the Excel sheet you want to import. It is also possible to start pre- and post-import actions. You can run DB procedures and functions. Or, start scripts, executables, or batch files. Typical application examples: delete all table data before the import, or send an email after an import. Additional CSV file settings are: character set, one field separator, or custom separators for different used languages. Quote marks. Chapter 3. How to call the Excel import. You have already seen how calling Excel import applications works here in the Apparo portal. In addition, it is possible to display different source data, such as status, calculations or metadata. In addition to a better overview of what has been done, and what is still to be done, the access rights to the import applications can also be made dependent on the status. If the import task was successfully completed, simply restrict further access for that month. Excel import applications can be started from almost anywhere. You can open the Excel import from emails, as here in this reminder, or as desktop link, or as browser bookmark, and so on. You can also append additional parameters to hyperlinks, to pass values, to filter the data, or to control the behavior of the called application. Let's get back to security for a moment. Users' security groups can not only restrict access to folders and applications, but can also allow different portal views for different users. Like here, for our test user. With security groups, you can control Apparo in detail. Apparo simply uses the existing security system. Besides controlling who can start which apps, security groups determine the behavior of data elements, define who is allowed to see which data, and who can start scripts and procedures, and much more. Chapter 4. Importing Excel files automatically. The auto file import allows you to import Excel files from a predefined directory on the server, or anywhere in the network. The files are copied to the source directory, manually or automatically, and moved to the optional working directory when the auto import interval is started. The files to be imported must match the defined file mask. The file mask can contain wildcards, for example question mark and asterisk. The pattern can restrict the import to certain file extensions, for example, CSV, XLS, XLSX, or .excel, for all Excel formats. One example. The pattern, sales*.excel, imports all Excel files starting with the string, sales, and ending with CSV, XLS or XLSX. If errors occur during import, an error file is stored in the error directory. This contains the file name, the row and column, as well as a description of the error. In our example, the sum of the quarters must not be greater than the amount per year. After a successful import, the file is moved to the history directory, and a timestamp is added to the file name. In the error and history directory, you can use the file name template to specify the names under which the files are to be archived. This can be any combination of text and variables. Possible name template variables are the imported file name, various timestamps, environment-related variables like server name, or the ID of the import mask, import-related variables like count of imported, inserted, or updated rows, and unique identifier variables. Chapter 5. Import of Excel files from email attachments. With the Apparo Excel email import, you can import any Excel format. You can send as many Excel files you want, and there is no row limit for the import. Simply send the files you want to import to a prepared email address, which is normally a corporate email address. All received attachments, logs and ticket information are stored in a separate folder on the server. We receive an email received confirmation, and 1 moment later a message that errors were found. The error response message contains an Excel attachment with all data errors. We open this Excel file and get detailed information. In the Excel file foo.xlsx, in row number 2, in the column sales, the value 109 is incorrect. It's greater than allowed. In this example, we only had 100 items on stock, so we cannot sell 109. Now we correct the wrong value in the original Excel file. We send all files again. All import-related events can be logged in a separate database table, and all response emails can be freely defined. Finally, we receive the success message. The import is now completed. Besides the general data and security checks, the Excel email import also offers special security options. The additional email import security features are a whitelist of trusted email servers, a whitelist of allowed email sender addresses, security keywords in the subject or body of the email, confirmation emails to the sender, import only if the email is defined in the security system. For a free 60 days trial, and more information, visit us on apparo-excelhub.solutions.